everyone. Today's the 13th of January. This is Brad Matheny. Thought I'd give you guys a quick update after my last video. Um, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So I'm going to just tell you where I'm at with my trading and what I expect to see happen given this longer term SPY chart. And we'll just go from there. So, number one, I'm rebalancing my portfolio. I really want to make sure that my risk level are limited. I have exited out of almost all metals trades. The reason for this is I think that if we do get a decent volatility event, metals will pull back as well. I've left a few trades. I actually closed just about everything in my portfolio except for a couple of trades, and I left one SILJ trade on, which I think is still valid and can withstand any pullback. And then, as I was thinking about how the markets are reacting right now, I think that, I thought that setting up some positions in gold and silver out into early February, mid February, would be appropriate because I don't think metals are, if they move down this week because of volatility, I don't think they'll stay down very long. So I want you to know that I've exited out of almost all trades. Yesterday, I entered a number of trades. So basically, I entered SSO puts, SDS calls, SPY puts, Tech S calls, QID calls, and UVXY calls. Now, the idea behind this is, and now yesterday everything was so cheap. Markets were going up. It was a beautiful time to try to get into some of these trades. And I'm only trading about, maybe 1/20th or so of my total portfolio in these positions. I'm pretty much like 85% cash right now. I'm not trying to make a killing on this move. I just want to be able to profit from this move when it happens. Okay. As of right now, I added this morning uh, 5 more SPY puts. Sorry, those were SDS calls. I added 3 AGQ calls. Those were not cheap, but I think they're worth it. And I added, I think it was 3 UGL calls. Now, the point behind this is because I think that metals, like I said, are still in a very explosive move to the upside. And I think that no matter what, even what happens tomorrow, we'll probably see a pretty decent move to the upside. And we'll see how things go from there. Now, what I'm looking for in terms of this move, if I come over here and go to monthly, am I looking for a massive breakdown? No. Okay. What I want you to understand here is that, I come back over here. This is probably a bad idea weekly. If I come back over here to daily, grab this over here. What we're really looking at here, guys, is, I think that the pullback is going to probably come down into this area or potentially down into this area on a very deep pullback. Okay, obviously we have this area as well, so I'll highlight that. These are all essentially Fibonacci lows. If you guys have followed any of my research, you understand that price may attempt to make a pretty solid pullback here. I do believe that what we are going to be looking at here is a fairly solid breakdown into a recovery, into a further breakdown. So be aware that that's kind of where I see the markets headed over the next couple of weeks. And we'll see how this sets up. Now, as I had mentioned to you before, if you follow my research, You can see that we have a pretty decent excess phase peak pattern setting up here, pull back, rally up to new highs, testing. If we were to fail like this and move down, we would be looking at a flag low formation coming right across here, which would be our potential last level of support, 652 roughly. And then we would more than likely move into, if this does happen, that's a big if, into some consolidation somewhere down here equal to the flag high to low range. Remember how I taught you this? It typically moves into 100% range. So that would mean that we would be looking for this basing bottoming move to be right in this area. Well, I got lucky. That wasn't a line. That was, anyway, I was trying to draw a line, not a drawing. But so this gives you an idea again, guys. If it comes true, this is what will end up happening potentially on a breakdown of this flag low. If not, we might be looking at just hitting this flag low 652 or coming close to it on this particular breakdown. Right now, again, I'm only expecting the markets to try to come down into this area. That's what I think this volatility event's going to be all about. Maybe into this area, but I really think we could be looking at like a 2 to 3% drawdown over to here. That's a 2% drawdown. That's a 3% drawdown. So understand that we could be looking at a pretty solid breakdown phase, maybe down into this 674 area. But initially, my target really is down into this area. That's 681, 680, trying to play into that range. So if the volatility event hits like I expect, then we'll be looking at some sort of a breakdown move, maybe into this area here. So, how does it affect the market? I think this volatility is going to be something that changes the way the market moves into Q1, Q2 expectations. I really do. I think that we're moving into an environment where, if I were to give you my interpretation right now of 2026, I mean, I'm just going to tell you, I would suggest that 2026 is going to move from this type of a melt up phase into kind of an extended basing bottoming phase. I did that wrong. Into kind of an extended basing bottoming phase out here into July. So change the color of this and come into this area. Be looking at something maybe kind of like that. Okay. And I think that this June, July area is going to potentially be some sort of a major basing bottoming. Q1 and Q2 of 2026 will be a pullback, and this would essentially be a wave two of wave five to the upside. And then we would move back into a wave three of wave five, which would extend quite a bit higher into the end of 2026 and 2027. So, again, right now, this is all about protecting capital. So, I had been, helps if I can spell, huh? I had been very long the markets. I have been doing quite well. I'm not going to get into it, but I had a great year last year, really stupendous. I mean, let's just put it this way: very, very happy. Cannot complain about what I did last year. I knocked a big number out last year as far as return on investment. And again, what I'm trying to do right now is preserve capital so that I don't blow it. Okay, that's really where I'm at. I'm trying to preserve capital getting into cash so that I can prepare for this move. The markets right now are a little weaker. I think we're going to see a pretty big breakdown tomorrow. And like I said, I'm just looking to essentially potentially capitalize on this rotation. Remember, I'm expecting a breakdown into this 675, 680 area, followed by a little bit of a rally, pullback, and then a very strong breakdown around the 26th, 27th, 28th of April, or sorry, of January, moving down into this consolidated pattern, potentially right down here. I'll do these in purple to kind of give you guys an example. So again, I'm using the same techniques. I have a lot of videos out here on TradingView. They're of real value to you if you get out and use them. I'm still using the same techniques and the same technology that I've had for many, many months and years. Still doing very well. Not really complaining about anything right now. Just thought that, you guys have been really cool. You replied back to my latest message on TradingView. I thought this was fantastic, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to let you guys continue to go. So here we are with the expectations, what the plan is, what I'm planning for, and like I said, I update as I go. But the whole idea is, if you learn to book them, protect your equity, and move on to the next trade, you can do very, very well. That means that you're not swinging for the fences everywhere. You're willing to call it quits on some trades when they're not working out, or if your expectations change. And that's exactly where I'm at right now. I will tell you that, in my opinion, these two levels right here and right here are the key levels that we are watching right now. So that's going to be 689 and pretty much right where we're at here, 694. We break down below 694, then the 689 level is our last defense level. Below that, we are headed downward, guys. So give you a heads up. This is the big, broad picture, in my opinion. This is what I expect to see happen over the next couple of months, in my opinion. Things could change, but I think we're looking at a pullback. Start of a pullback setting up over the next 10 or 15 days, pretty much right over here, where this volatility event becomes the big change in dynamics of the market. Okay, guys, good luck. Talk to you later.